What you building, future civil engineers? Today we're going to tackle about time of setting of Portland Cement ASTM C191 using VCAT apparatus. First of all, what is the purpose of knowing the time of setting of Portland Cement ASTM C191 using VCAT apparatus? What is its objective? Let's have the most basic explanation of what it is. Well, we put water in cement and this turns into some type of paste, and this paste can be molded into any shape and sizes. And as time passes by, this cement paste hardens, and that whole cycle is time of setting of cement. So this whole procedure aims to determine the time it takes for cement to react or hydrate completely in water. It can also determine the initial and final set of time of cement with respect to its plasticity and strength. So why should we know the initial and final setting time of the cement? Why should we know if it still has high plasticity? Why should we know if it's already hardening? In the initial setting time, it has a primary role in strength of cement paste or in real-life application in concrete that we are going to do. It is important that we have placed it in the right position, that we have molded it into the right shape that we desire right before it crosses the initial setting time. And with the final setting time, it's important to know that it is hardening, and it's important to calculate the time it takes to harden because we don't want to disturb it or remove the mold before it crosses the final setting time, so we can assure its strength. So like what I said earlier, mixing cement with water turns it into a paste that we can mold. That's its plasticity, its ability to be molded. And its strength is about how long it takes for the cement to harden. And what is the scope of time of setting of Portland cement? It only focuses on the time of setting of Portland cement using VCAT needle within the temperature of 25 degrees Celsius to 29 degrees Celsius and a humidity of 65% plus or minus 5%. And it also uses the procedure of ASTM C191. To do this procedure, what exactly do we need? Well, we need a VCAT apparatus, we need a needle for initial setting time, and we also need a needle for final setting time, which has annular. We also need container mold, mixing bowl, shovel, water, glass plate, stopwatch, and a digital weighing scale that has the capacity to weigh 10 kilograms and is sensitive to up to 0.1% of the sample. For safety and precaution, we are required to use gloves or safety gloves, safety shoes, and apron. Needles should not be used in wet conditions, and equipment must be cleaned before and after doing the test. Before conducting the test, make sure that people are not around. Dapat 1 meter radius away from the machine. So, now that we have all of that covered up, what is the test procedure? Ano ba yung kailangan natin gawin para malaman natin yung initial and final setting time, para malaman natin yung time it takes for the cement to react and to hydrate in water? Keep in mind that the following procedure that I will mention is done in an organized and consistent manner. So, yung makukuha nating data and result, we know that it's actually accurate. So, in this video, you will see the whole procedure of time of setting of Portland cement. So we're gonna need to prepare 500 grams of Portland cement and put it in a clean container. We are gonna be needing 425 grams of water or 85% of total weight of cement to produce cement paste in standard consistency. Next, we are going to place the 500 grams of cement in the mixing bowl and 425 grams of water. We are going to immediately start the stopwatch when water is added to the cement. When cement paste is in standard consistency, place the cement paste into the mold within 3 to 5 minutes. Remember, we have to clean the needle for initial setting time and attach it carefully to the VCAT apparatus. Now, put the VCAT mold in the surface of the glass plate and align them to the center axis of the VCAT apparatus. Make sure that the indicator is set to 0. We also have to make sure that the tip of the needle touches the surface of the cement paste. Immediately release the plunger and allow it to penetrate into the specimen test block or mold. We have to repeat the test every 2 minutes until it reaches the reading of 5 millimeters, more or less 0.5 millimeters. The time period elapsed between the moment when water is added to the cement and the time at which the needle penetrates the test block to a depth equal to 5 millimeters from the top is taken as the initial setting time. For final setting time, we need to remove the needle for initial setting time and replace it with needle for final setting time. Upon lowering circular annular attachment for repeated multiple intervals of time, which is 5 minutes interval, at some particular point, the needle makes an impression while circular cutting edge fails. The time period that elapsed between the time when water is added to the cement and time at which circular attachment fails to make an impression is taken as the final setting time. For the last step, we have to gather and record the data to the given table. So the table that we are seeing right now is an example of data gathered from time of setting of Portland cement. Keep in mind that the amount of water to be used will always be 85% of the weight of the cement. So if the amount of cement increases, the water will also increase. So logically, we can conclude that the cement affects the amount of water to be used. In knowing the initial and final setting time, we will also need a stopwatch and a VCAT apparatus. So we can see that to compute for water, H2O, which is the element of water, is equals to 0.85 of the weight of the cement. So if we look at the table, what can we conclude? There is always a difference in the initial and the final setting time. And what do you think affects this? What do you think affects the initial and final setting time? Well, the fineness of the cement can affect the initial and final setting time, the amount of salt in the cement, and the conditions that it is in. It is not always that we can control the temperature. It may come from 25 to 27 to 29 degrees Celsius, and the humidity might reach up to 70%, or it can also go down to 60%. And those are acceptable conditions, but it really affects the initial and final setting time of the Portland cement. So thank you for watching this video, and I hope you learned a lot.